Welcome to Sprayhead Mondays on Antique Sprinklers. We're starting this one out with a slightly different point of view than we usually do with the spray heads, and maybe some of you can tell why just by looking at your screen, but I'll get into the why of it in a minute for the rest of you. You might be able to tell that this is a Weathermatic brass spray head. It's a number 34, and that's all I want to say about that for the moment. I owe you guys, and this is also your penance to pay as part of these videos where I tell you a little bit about Weathermatic and its founding. And so the founder of Weathermatic was born in Golden Gate, Illinois in 1912, a guy by the name of Max Snoddy. And Max's mother moved him to Detroit, Michigan before he was fully grown. He'd lost his father at an early age. And while in Detroit, by 1930, when he was 18, he'd found work with the John A. Brooks Company, which was a pioneer of underground irrigation for landscapes, like golf, etc., in Detroit. And by the early 30s to mid-30s, he'd moved to Elkhart, Indiana, and was still working for Brooks there, doing Brooks Systems installations. And then Brooks had a contract with Northern Indiana Brass Company that everybody in the business today knows as NIBCO. They make a bunch of different valves now, but back then they made sprinklers, and specifically they made sprinklers for Brooks. And Max took a job with NIBCO in the 1930s and published a guide for underground irrigation and helped build out the NIBCO product line, and certainly a number of installers were using the sprinklers that NIBCO made back then for irrigation. Fast forward through World War II, and at the end of it, Max moves to Dallas, Texas, and starts a company called Telsco, which is the parent company of Weathermatic, and everybody knows it by Weathermatic. Telsco stands for the Texas Lawn Sprinkler Company. I don't know that that's a very commonly known name. They make a couple of other products beyond what they do as Weathermatic, but Weathermatic's their primary brand and pretty much how everybody knows them, and they're still in business today. Max passed his business to his son. I think his name was Mike. And then in the very late 20th century, right around there, maybe as late as 2000, the Mason family bought it. And they're out there still making Weathermatic products and doing good philanthropic work with providing potable water around the world. You should check it out. And so that is, in just a couple of minutes, the history of the founding of Weathermatic. I have not done it justice, but we'll talk about them more again, I am sure. So to speak about the sprinkler that you see in front of you here, like I mentioned, it is a Weathermatic brass pop-up gravity retract 34. The standard spray head this size that they made was called a 33 when it was the bronze model like this. But this one has a distinction, and you'll see it right down here. And this is a nylon adjustable riser that comes with the sprinkler. And what its purpose is, you know, you'd put these older systems in that don't pop up super high. This might have a 2-inch pop-up on it at most. It claims a full 2-inch pop-up, so sure, why not? And settling over time, turf growing, buildup of dirt, whatever, it was very common that you would have to raise heads like this after they'd been in the ground a few years. And so to facilitate doing that, Weathermatic came out with this integral nylon riser with reverse threads on it. And so some folks call them left-hand threads. My dad would call them engineer threads. But basically the idea is, instead of righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, it was lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. And so I would normally think I was tightening this thing down, but as you can see, I'm actually raising the sprinkler up, and I'm not very tight on the nipple below it, so this is moving. But it was a way that without touching the swing joint under the sprinkler or even the fixed riser, as they did a lot back in the day, you could actually make whatever adjustments you needed, so long it was no more than raising it up 1 3/8 inches without digging up the sprinkler, and that was a big deal. And so you could even just put your wrench on it. And this is the Weathermatic 904 sprinkler wrench, and adjust it thusly back and forth, up and down. And so pretty cool innovation, I think, to address a significant problem that these sprinklers faced year over year. And then, you know, Weathermatic was very well known for very high quality brass nozzles. And in this case, just because it shows in an interesting way, I'm using the 618H nozzle, which is their stream jet pop-up nozzle. And you'll see it's a stream spray that comes out of there. And it's fairly low gallonage for the area that it covers. So this guy at 25 PSI is going to put out about 1.5 gallons across a radius of 19 feet. And so that's a fairly low precip rate where that is desired. So maybe something on a slope, or if you have soil like a heavy clay or something where the water doesn't infiltrate well, you're putting down water at a slightly lower precip rate, and so it isn't just going to all run off. And so I'm hoping that you enjoy watching this guy in action. And as always, I appreciate your continued interest in the channel, and thanks for watching.